Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, October the 24th, 2023. Tuesday, October the 24th. Well, you remember Nikki called Vicky over and she wanted to talk to her. And let's be real, she wanted to tell Vicky about Victor's plan. That's exactly what she was going to do. But Victor interrupts. He was out for his walk and he comes in right as Nikki's about to tell her something. I already knew what she was going to tell her, and so did Victor. So he goes, "Hey, my darling, it's awfully late." Or my sweetheart, I think is what he calls Victoria. Nikki is my baby, my baby, my baby. But he hasn't been doing that very often, right? So, so anyway, she says, "No, I just wanted to check on you, Dad." And he goes, "Really, this late?" "Yes, yes, I'm concerned." And then Nikki is looking at him and he's kind of looking at her. And she goes, Victoria's like, "What's going on between you two?" And Victor says, "Oh, your mother and I are in the middle of a discussion. But, never mind that. Let's, pretty much talk about you." So she then tells him, "Oh, she's worried about him, Dad." And he goes, "No, you just want your position back." "That's not true, Dad. Something is going on. And if for nothing else, just ease my mind. Go see a professional, any professional. And if they say that everything is a-okay, then you can do the biggest, most embarrassing, I told you so to me. I will drop it, never to bring it up again." And Nikki's just looking at him. She goes, "I do believe having fresh eyes on the situation would be a good idea." So Victor's just looking at her, right? So he goes, "I'll think about it." "Oh, thank you, Daddy. Oh, that just means the world to me." And he goes, "I'll think about it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. It means I'll think about it." And she goes, "Yeah, but you didn't say no. So, no, I'll think about it." So she gets a text from Nate. Nate saying he needs to speak to her, needs to meet her. So she says, "I got to go. Nate wants to meet me to talk about, tell me something or discuss something." So Victor goes, "Well, you better run along then." Because look, he wanted to lay into Nikki. Well, what Nate wanted to tell Victoria, Nate walked in on Adam in Victor's office, sitting in Victor's chair. And he's like, "What are you doing in here? And what are you doing in Victor's chair?" He goes, "Sitting in it." He said, "You're sitting in it. Are you imagining you're running the company?" And he looked at Nate. He goes, "Nate, I don't have to sit here and imagine me running this company. I was the CEO of Newman Enterprises on a number of occasions, right?" Now let's not forget, remember when Vicky went out of town and left Nate in charge? Oh, he was in the chair just, oh yeah, that chair. So no, shut up, Nate. Shut up, right? So he goes, "And who knows what the future holds?" And he goes, "Oh, what do you think? Just because your name is Newman?" He goes, "Oh, that all." Nate's like, I mean, Nick, Adam's like, "Oh, that always helps." So he goes, "You still haven't answered. What are you doing in here?" He goes, "My father wanted me to get him some papers." He says, "What papers?" He said, "Well, they're private. And since he didn't ask you, then I'm not going to say. I'm going to do as my father wishes." And Adam gets up and walks out. Now, while he was searching Victor's desk, he saw this funny little, like a twiny snake, vipers pointing at Newman Enterprise logo. And quick glance, you would think it's, just scribblings. But no, it was um, Nick, Victoria, Adam, or Adam, Nick, Victoria, Adam, Nick, Victoria, just all over and over again, tiny, like something that Victor Newman doesn't have the dexterity to have done, let's be real, at all, because I don't have the dexterity to have done that. But Adam's trying to figure out what could this mean. So he took that with him. Well, the first person, I mean, he saw Nick at the jazz lounge and he goes, Nick, can I talk to you? And he goes, Adam, I told you I don't want to talk to you. And he goes, Nick, this is not about Sally. This is about our father. And I need to talk to you. So Nick looks at him, you know, Nick is. And he goes, something is wrong with him. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, he told me he feels that Victoria and Nate are trying to plan a coup and he needs allies. And he asked me to be an ally. And Nicholas says, oh, you better not use our father's condition to, you're probably already planning, you know, on using this. He goes, no, Nick, I'm here talking to you and telling you because something is wrong and I'm worried. He said, can't you for once just is your, you know, he goes, is your hatred of me this bad that you can't even talk to me about our father's condition? So Nick just looks at it. And I was going to say, Adam, say, or does Faith need another organ for me to give her in order for you to feel like I'm your brother? See, he should have stabbed that knife into Nick. Because, oh, when he wanted his brother's kidney, oh, yeah, we have to say, Faith, you're Newman. Faith, you're Newman. You have to help. Oh. But he told him, no, we will take care of Dad without you. And Adam says, he is my father as well. And Nick is like, yeah. So he goes, what is it you want to say? And so he goes, I was in his office. What are you doing in his office? He goes, looking for clues. That's what I was in his office for. And he goes, and this is what I found. So Nick looked at it and he pushed it aside. It's just some kind of scribblings, doodling. He goes, Nick, when have you ever known our father to doodle? And Nick kind of, never. He goes, he doesn't doodle. He goes, and I need you to look closely at it. It's our three names over and over and over again, real tiny. And in the shape of this coiled up viper, you know, with his mouth open at Newman Enterprises. Something's going on here. I don't know what this could mean. So Nick looks at it and he sees their names over and over again. And he goes, So he puts it down and he goes, still something he's saying, you know, spiting back. And so Adam says something else to him. And then Nick kind of looks at it and he picks it up and he's like, And Adam says, you recognize what this could be. Do you recognize it? And he goes, I'll handle it. You stay out of it. And just walks out of the jazz lounge. And I was like, see, that's Nicholas for you. And that's the way they've always treated Adam. And then they wonder why he lashes out. Why? Because of their actions, Nikki included. 100% Nikki included. So Nate, Victoria gets to society, and Nate tells her that I walked in on Adam sitting in Victor's chair like he owned the place. And Victoria says, really? And I'm thinking, what? Victoria, you were in the office going around smashing pictures. So what? Right? And so she goes, what do you think he was doing? He said he was getting paperwork that Victor asked for. She goes, do you believe him? He goes, no. So she goes, he's planning a coup. He's planning. So now look, those two are going to conspire to frame Adam. I already know it. Adam is going to conspire to frame them. I mean, but this is what Victor wants. Seriously. This is the kind of behavior that he 100% wants. So he's going to get what he wants in this case, everybody. So now we have Danny, Phyllis, Daniel, and Lily celebrating. I could have swore Daniel said not tonight, but they did the housewarming tonight. And they brought over, little veggies and little like charcuterie stuff, right? And they were talking, and Phyllis is smiling all in Danny's face. And you know how she gets, what? Hey, and Daniel's kind of looking. And so Phyllis, of course, had to make sure she brought up Heather and Lucy. First started with Lucy, she goes, I'm so happy I have all my kids back on the same continent. And now Lucy's going to be here too. And Daniel just looks at her like, don't you say it. And so Lily's like, I know that. I know Daniel's looking so forward to having his daughter right here. That is a perk. And then she goes, and Heather will be here too. So Daniel, he gives her kind of like a side eye. And she knew exactly. Because Daniel and her, he don't mix any punches. So he kind of looked at her. And Danny says, no, I know it's great to have family. And he says, I can't wait to move out of the athletic club. So Daniel was like, your guest room awaits you. So Lily is now picking up stuff, putting away stuff, and the evening is about to end. Phyllis didn't overtly make it like she was pushing for Daniel and Heather, but Daniel knew exactly what she was doing, and so did she. And I knew exactly what she was doing. Lily, on the other hand, pretended she didn't. And Danny is oblivious to anything, right? So when Phyllis left, Daniel apologized to Lily. And he goes, I want to apologize for what my mother did. And she's like, what did she do? She brought up Lucy and Heather. And she goes, yeah, but Daniel, you know what? It was okay. I mean, she didn't do it in any kind of malicious way. She's like, I didn't take offense to it. And he goes, I did. Because for one, she's pushing for me and Heather to get back together again, which means she's not respecting my choice. I choose you, Lily. And so Lily says, but Daniel, she could wish you and Heather were back together all she wants. You aren't back together or getting back together. And he goes, I know, but I don't need her every chance she gets to try to insinuate and do underhanded things. And so Lily says, you know what? I think the one who's really getting worked up is you at the mention of Heather's name. And Lily's like, and I think, she goes, because I should be the one that's upset at what she did. But I'm not, because it's not that big of a deal. But for you to be more upset than I am, she goes, now that has me concerned. And I was thinking, well, for one, let's face it, Daniel always wanted his family back together. And now he's feeling the vibes from Heather that she's getting open to it. Lily already said she would like to have you back, right? But Daniel's afraid of his own feelings. But I'm on Daniel's side with this. He knows exactly what Phyllis is doing. Exactly. And even Phyllis and Danny ended up at the coffee house. And Danny even kind of mentioned, hey, it almost seems like, you're pushing for Heather and Daniel to get back together again. And he says, and Daniel's with Lily. She's like, man. She goes, that's not going to last. They have history and it didn't work. And I was going to say, how stupid does that sound? He and Heather have history and it didn't work, right? And so Daniel says, yeah, but they are very happy now. So you don't want Phyllis to meddle in that because that's going to push Daniel away. I'm not meddling. I'm not meddling at all. I'm not, I was nice to Lily. I was nice. And so Danny just looks at her like, mm-hmm. See, even Danny finally acknowledged he knew it and he could tell. Daniel knew it. Lily knew, but chose not to really make it an issue, right? So anyway, they were talking about how they had fun and blah blah blah. And then she goes, "Well, you know what?" She's looking in his eyes. It's getting late. I have to go back to my room. Because I have to go to work early tomorrow. Daddy is like, okay. And he just looks, because mind you, they both are staying at the athletic club, right? But Daddy's like, look, I ain't getting caught with going back to the hotel with you, because now we got to climb the same number of stairs because, there's no elevator. And that thing is what, 10 stories high, which is so crazy to me how they do that. Um, so he goes, you know what? No, Phyllis, I'm gonna stay here and enjoy my tea. You go ahead. So she goes, okay. And she kind of switches, lets him watch her walk out. I said, look at Phyllis. Stop it, girl. you know? And so Danny looks at her and he kind of has his cup of tea, like, I guess we got a little sparks going here. Cause see, he ain't fighting it. He feels some sparks too. So he's sitting out on the patio area with his tea, and guess who walks through the door? And guess who looks at him? Danny. And I thought, oh, Christine, come on now. Yes, it's Danny. And he goes, Christine. And I said, see, we're going to have the whole triangle thing. We're going to have it. I was hoping Christine would have got there earlier and saw him and Phyllis because she would have saw those vibes that were being given off. Right? And I was hoping Phyllis saw Christine, but see, didn't happen this time. Because they're going to let Danny play both ends against the middle with that one. They really, really are. Because Christine hates Phyllis as much as Phyllis hates the bug. So anyway, that's it, everybody. Nothing else really happened on The Young and the Restless. Let's go to Comic Corner. Comic Corner. Annette says, pretty lady, I'm afraid Lily will have a broken heart, while Sally will get two men. I'm sick of the back and forth back and forth with them three. Sally knows what she's doing and is playing the game. Whom didn't know a Claire Grace would come along about now playing more games? I know there's some big stuff coming with Claire. Belinda says, I thought I was seeing things when I saw Sally's lips, LOL. First Sharon, now Sally. I wonder if there's if it's in their contract that they have to do cosmetic enhancements from time to time. It might, you know what? I don't know that they can make you get cosmetic surgery because look, what if something go wrong? They're liable. That's in your contract. But they could have something being said that you still got to look 10 years younger than you actually are. So look, you read between the lines, and ladies, do what you got to do. Men too. Come on, you don't think all that's Jack's real hair. That's something they're putting in, you know? So anyway, that's it for Comic Corner. I will be back tomorrow for another daily recap of The Young and the Restless.